The pursuit of happiness is such an American concept that it's baked into the Constitution, but in some states it seems to be an easier pursuit than in others. Every year, MoneyWise puts out their list of the 25 unhappiest states based on 3 categories: emotional and physical well-being, work environment, and community and environment, with the categories broken down into 31 metrics, including the number of work hours, job security, adult depression, income growth, and the weather, among others. Each metric is weighted differently and graded on a scale from 0 to 100, with 100 corresponding with maximum happiness. So in this video, I thought we'd take a look at the top 10 unhappiest states and see what makes them so unhappy. Number 10, Oregon. The Beaver State, as it's known, has a lot going for it. They have the second lowest number of work hours, the third highest rate of volunteers, and the number 1 rate of income growth in the nation. However, Oregon comes in second place for the number of adults suffering from depression in the US. The state is also in 43rd place for emotional and physical well-being, although Oregon does get high marks for its work environment, and they have an average score for community and environment. So why is everyone so unhappy? The people surveyed blamed the weather. Oregon has mountains, valleys, and a coastline, so the weather can vary from region to region within the state, but for the state average, they don't see a lot of snow. Oregon averages 4.3 inches of snowfall per year. What makes the weather so gloomy is the rain. They average 43 inches of rainfall each year, and the respondents said that triggers seasonal affective disorder for a large number of the residents. One person said that they've tried all the tricks, including vitamin D, something called a happy light, and vacations to Mexico, but they still can't seem to get over the lack of sunshine. I actually lived in Oregon when I was a little kid, and I always wondered why my parents moved back to Illinois, but maybe it was just too gloomy for them. Number 9, Alaska. It's not hard to come up with reasons for why some people in Alaska might be unhappy. For one thing, the state is isolated and sparsely populated, so social butterflies might find themselves getting lonely, and visiting in person with friends and family in the lower 48 takes a lot of planning and work, not to mention money, to make it happen. As one respondent said, it can feel like you're trapped because it costs a small fortune to go almost anywhere. They went on to say that they had been to Germany for less than the cost of plane tickets to Florida. If that doesn't deter a person from moving to Alaska, the long frigid winters and short mild summers might. Alaska averages 64.46 inches of snow every year, and they have an average of 48 days where the snow comes down. But wait, there's more! Alaska performed poorly in the categories of work conditions at 47th place, and community and environment at 48th as well. Alaskans have some of the longest work hours and lowest income growth in the country. So the takeaway is that it might be cool to take an Alaskan vacation, but maybe living there is a bad idea. Number 8, Alabama. The state nickname, the Yellowhammer State, refers to the state bird, but it was also a nickname for the Confederate soldiers. They're also called the Heart of Dixie, and I think that says a lot about the state, don't you? It's not a very cheery place for adults, but the kids have it even worse. Alabama has one of the worst education systems in the nation, according to WalletHub. They suffer from poor test scores and relatively low K-12 funding. Healthcare in Alabama is also bad. It ranks as the 3rd lowest in the nation. Then there's the economy. 14.9% of the residents fall below the poverty line, and the median household income is $12,000 below the national median at only $50,536. One survey respondent said this: "My hometown was once booming with steel mills and the coal industry, and everyone had a job. Those are all gone now, and there's nothing left." Overall, Alabama had a decent score in the category of community and environment, but struck out for the emotional and physical well-being, ranking 46th. Number 7, Mississippi. It's no secret that Mississippi often falls at the bottom of all kinds of national rankings, such as education and healthcare, but the residents gave the state high marks in the category of community and environment, landing it in the 14th spot. MoneyWise says that has to be because of what they call Mississippi's pleasant weather and extra long leisure time, because the other factors that make up that category are abysmal. The Magnolia State is the least safe in the nation, it has one of the highest divorce rates, and also has one of the lowest rates of volunteerism. Mississippi also ranked dead last for sports participation. My theory is that it's too hot to play sports. One survey respondent had these wise words to say: "Our politicians are awful, our schools are awful, our healthcare is awful. The best part is that no one tries to make it better. Every single person is just content to writhe in this awfulness. It's all just awful. And I'm pretty certain old rich white people just come here to die staring at our lakes, the only things that don't suck." If all of that doesn't make the residents unhappy, I imagine the 18.7% poverty rate and low median household income of $45,081 would do the trick. Number 6, Tennessee. A lot of people have been moving to Tennessee in recent years to take advantage of that no income tax thing, but people from the state don't seem to have many good things to say about it. Tennessee's nickname is the volunteer state for the number of soldiers who signed up to battle in the War of 1812, but no one is volunteering for anything these days. The state failed to make it into the top 5 for volunteerism, according to the study. Now, there are some good things going for Tennessee, such as strong growth in its healthcare, manufacturing, mining, logging, and construction industries, so it scored well in the category of work environment. However, they came in 44th place for community and environment and 45th for emotional and physical well-being. Some of the respondents mentioned that the weather makes them unhappy, with one person saying that they came home from college for Thanksgiving and while home played soccer on that Friday in 70-degree weather and then had to drive home in the snow on Sunday. What, like that isn't normal? Says everyone from the Midwest. Tennessee also has some of the highest rates of adult depression, and the residents get very little sleep, which also adds to the unhappiness factor. Number 5, Kentucky. Kentucky has the Kentucky Derby, but that may be the only thing that they have going for them. Kentucky is one of the poorest states in the country, with a median household income of just $50,589, and 14.9% of the residents live in poverty. 14% of the state's population was enrolled in the SNAP program, but some counties fare worse. Out of the 10 poorest counties in the country, 5 of them are located in Kentucky: Owsley, Wolfe, McCreary, Jackson, and Clay counties. In Owsley County, 39% of the residents are on SNAP. It's hard to be happy when you're that poor. The Bluegrass State took 32nd place for work environment and 47th place for emotional and physical well-being. Kentuckians also reported that they get very little sleep and rarely participate in sports. One respondent had this to say about the state: "The education system is terribly underfunded with no end in sight. The healthcare system is below the national average, and the pandemic is completely out of control." Wallet Hub disagreed with that assessment slightly, saying schools weren't quite that bad, but they ranked Kentucky as 44th for healthcare outcomes. Number 4, Louisiana. According to the study, workers in Louisiana are the most miserable in the country due to having some of the longest hours, but they also have the lowest income growth of any state. Their minimum wage remains at the federal rate of $7.25 per hour, so the median household income is only $49,469. They also have a lot of unemployment, and about 1 in 5 people, including 1 in 4 children, live below the poverty line. The Pelican State is also rated the second most dangerous in the country and one of the worst for divorce and sports participation. According to one resident, it's not uncommon for people graduating in Louisiana to head to Texas right away for higher wages there and more things to do. They elaborated, "In Louisiana, cutting back on education funding makes it less likely for businesses to move there since high-paying industries are looking for educated, skilled workers, not unskilled workers. Poverty, lack of jobs, and a bad school system would make most people miserable." Number 3, Oklahoma. The weather alone is enough for some people to give up on the Sooner State, between the tornadoes, wildfires, floods, and severe winter storms. But it's not just natural disasters leaving people in despair. As the price of oil has crashed, the Oklahoma government has declared revenue failures 3 times, in 2020, 2017, and 2016, meaning it pulled in less money than it allocated for public services. Oklahoma's lowest ranking was in the emotional and physical well-being category at 48th place. In a scathing 2017 analysis, The Guardian said Oklahoma was leading the nation in education cuts, expulsions, and female incarceration rates, while it came second for male incarceration. One respondent said, "The western half of the state is in economic arrest unless they have a military base, oil, or gas boom going. We don't have much skilled labor left. Most are old or have found greener pastures. It is difficult to hire people and get them to move to Oklahoma due to the lousy weather and poor schools." The median household income for the state is well below the national average at $52,919, and 14.3% of the residents live below the poverty line. Number 2, Arkansas. One of Arkansas's nicknames is the land of opportunity, but you'd be hard-pressed to find any business opportunities in the state. Arkansas is one of the poorest states in the country, with a median household income of only $47,597 and a poverty rate of 15.2%. The state is hurting to create job opportunities for its residents, and certain parts of the state have far fewer jobs than others. MoneyWise says that the recent trade war with China has also hurt the state's exports, causing farmers to drop prices in the face of lower demand and triggering a wave of bankruptcies. That might be why they rank so poorly for their work environment, coming in at 42nd place. They're also 49th in emotional and physical well-being. It's also one of the most dangerous and least sports-loving states. However, they managed to somehow land in 15th place for the quality of its community environment. A resident named Carrie said, "3/4 of the state isn't worth living in. The Northwest is your best bet. Mosquitoes are horrible unless you get to the Ozarks. No alcohol sales on Sunday, and there are a lot of small towns where the streets roll up at 6 p.m. And nothing is open on Sunday except Walmart and gas stations. Northeast Arkansas is terrible about its crime rate." So, yeah, that sounds like a pretty horrible place to live. Number 1, West Virginia. Now, this is one place that I've talked about a few times on this channel. The state is full of natural beauty, and I'm pulling for it to turn around, but it seems as though no one else likes the state. According to a few different surveys, the Mountain State is the most miserable of all the United States, thanks in part to having the highest rate of adult depression. West Virginians are so chronically sleep deprived and incomes are stagnant. That's why the median household income is only $46,711, and 15.8% of the people fall below the poverty line. West Virginia came in dead last for emotional and physical well-being, and second last for its work environment. They also have a serious drug problem, leading the nation in drug overdose deaths at 52 deaths per 100,000 people. One respondent said, lack of adequate medical care, not enough doctors, etc., leads to pharmacies and pill mills just handing out pain medication and opioids like candy. That may be true in some parts of the state, but West Virginia University runs a health system that is trying to combat the issues in the state. Also, according to Forbes' list of America's Best Employers 2022, which compiles the top 250 employers in the country, the West Virginia state government came in at number 209, so the state is trying to fix some of its issues. Are any of these states surprising? Let me know what you think, and if you enjoyed this video, maybe share it on social media to help out the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I remain stuck in the cornfield.